Drivers must be scheduled in field service in order to be dispatched service appointments. Once you set a schedule for a week, the schedule will reoccur each week. This video will demonstrate how to create a schedule for a driver, add a shift, schedule their breaks, move their breaks, create absences, and modify existing schedules. Let's see how to do these in field service. First, to see all of your drivers, you'll click on the Calls and Drivers tab. Next, click on Resources. Remember, the term, resources, equals drivers. This page will default to display the drivers that you recently viewed. In our case, we haven't viewed any drivers yet, therefore the page is blank. For our example, we want to view all of the drivers at our facility. To do so, we'll click on the drop-down arrow to select our facility. We'll select our facility. This page will display all of your active resources, meaning that, whether they are on the schedule or not for today, they are a current employee with your facility, with a schedule and field service. You can change the drivers' names, which will subsequently change how the names are displayed in this column, and on the Gantt chart. For example, you may want to have the driver's technician number along with their name. Refer to the manual on how to change the drivers' names. Let's create a schedule for driver number 4. They are a new employee, therefore, they don't already have a schedule set up for them in field service. When first starting in field service, you will need to set up the initial schedules for all of your drivers. It is extremely important for you to create a schedule for each driver, otherwise the drivers cannot receive service appointments. To start creating a schedule, we'll click on driver number 4. This page will display all of the information regarding driver number 4. Once driver number 4 starts receiving service appointments, then they will be displayed in this section. All of the service appointments that driver number 4 runs will be listed here. The absences section will display all of the driver's absences, such as breaks, meetings, vacation, working on police calls, etc. This section will display a constant log of the driver's last known location, using longitude and latitude geocodes. Once the driver starts receiving service appointments, then these sections will be populated. Let's get back to creating a schedule for driver number 4. As a note, if a driver works for more than one facility, it will be shown here. To start creating the driver's schedule, click on the driver's name under the category, Operating Hours. This is where the driver's schedule will be displayed. When a driver does not have any hours scheduled, the time slots will be blank. Let's go ahead and enter the driver's hours. We'll click on the Related tab to do this. Now, click on the New button. Here is where you will set driver number 4's working hours. Once set, the schedule will be repeated in field service each week, unless you go in and manually change it. Let's say, for this example, that driver number 4 will be working Sunday and Monday, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'll enter this information. Since Sunday is already selected, I will move to the start time, which is 8 a.m. I'll scroll down to 8 a.m. and select it. Next, we'll change the end time to 5 p.m. The type remains as normal. You have the option to continue adding days by selecting the Save and New button. But, for this example, since Monday will be the same as Sunday, we'll show you another method. We'll click on the Save button. And, there's the time slot that we just added to the schedule for driver number 4 for Sundays. Let's look at how to add this schedule to Mondays. We'll click on the Details tab. Here's the graphical view of the schedule. To copy Sunday's schedule to Monday, you can right-click on the time slot. You will select Copy to Next Day. This option will copy the same exact schedule to the next day, in our case, that will be Monday. And, there's the same schedule, copied from Sunday to Monday. You must now click on the Save button. To confirm that the hours have been scheduled, click on Dispatch Console. To see the hours on the Gantt chart. Driver number 4 is now shown on the Gantt chart. The gray indicates non-working hours, or hours that the driver is not scheduled to work. By the way, to change the hours displayed on the Gantt chart, you would click on the filter icon. The filter will display the hours you are currently viewing on the Gantt chart. To change the hours displayed on the Gantt chart, you will move the slider. For our example, we will change the hours to be 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Next, we'll change to 8 a.m. Notice here that these are the hours that will be displayed on the Gantt chart. As you move the slider, these times will change. To see the Gantt chart with the new filtered hours, you will simply click anywhere outside of the box. There's the new hours. For this example, driver number 4 will be working for a few hours on one of their days off. Remember, when you create a schedule for a driver, that schedule will repeat each week. Therefore, the most important item to remember for adding a shift is that you will need to delete the shift after the shift is over. Otherwise, driver number 4 will remain on the schedule every week, at the newly created shift times. Let's see how to add driver number 4 to the schedule for the day. As you can see, the Gantt chart is gray for driver number 4. This means that driver number 4 is not on the schedule for today. To start, we'll click on Calls, and Drivers. And, then, Resources. Remember, the term resources equals drivers. This page defaults to the recently viewed resources. Since we just finished creating driver number 4's recurring schedule, Field Service is showing that we recently viewed them. We can simply click on driver number 4's name now. To start creating the driver's schedule for today, click on the driver's name under the category, Operating Hours. There's driver number 4's schedule that we created earlier. Let's add driver number 4 to today's schedule. To do so, we'll click on the Related tab. Again, here's the 2 shifts for driver number 4. To add a new shift, click on the New button. Let's say, for this example, that driver number 4 will be working Wednesday, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll enter this information. Lastly, we'll click on the Save button. There's the shift we just added. After driver number 4 has completed this shift, you can simply click on the arrow. Select Delete. The Wednesday schedule will no longer appear on driver number 4's schedule. Let's go ahead and schedule a break for driver number 4. One way to do this is to click on the Non-Availability arrow. By clicking on the drop-down arrow, you can see the options available to choose from. For our example, we simply want driver number 4 to be placed on a break. So, we will select Break, Meal Break. Now we want to set the duration of the break. To do this, we will click on the number 60 to change the number of minutes for the break to 45 minutes. You will click on the up or down arrows to change the number of minutes. Now that we have the number of minutes for driver number 4's break, we can go ahead and schedule it. To do this, you would drag and drop the break to the time on the Gantt chart. There is the break on the Gantt chart. If we hover over the break, the pop-up window shows that resource absence for driver number 4's break is scheduled for 12 p.m. to 12:45 p.m. As a note, drivers can schedule their breaks on their own. Therefore, if you see a coffee cup on the Gantt chart, this signifies that the drivers scheduled their own break. There may be times when the service appointment overlaps the driver's break. In this case, the overlap has resulted in a rule violation. You can simply move the break so that the rule violation disappears. Also, Field Service will not expect the driver to service calls while on a break. To move the break, simply click, hold, drag, and release the break. The rule violation is no longer and the driver's break is moved to a later time. There may be times when a driver can't receive AAA calls for a period of time, such as for a police emergency, and you need to create an absence using their current location. To create an absence, you will hover your mouse over driver number 4's name. Notice the 3 dots appeared when I hovered over the driver's name. We'll click on the 3 dots. We'll click on Create Absence. Next, we'll click to select the type of absence for driver number 4. Notice, this is another way to create a break, or meal break. For this example, we will select, working on a police call. I will enter the start time and the end time. And, now, instead of entering an address, you simply click the Use Current Location checkbox. By clicking this box, this sets the technician's current GPS location as the location of the absence. This allows field service to use the technician's location for scheduling calls after their absence. And lastly, you'll click on the Save button. There's the driver's absence. Field service will not dispatch any service appointments to driver number 4 for the period of time they are on the police call. There are going to be times when you need to modify a driver's schedule. To get started, we are going to look at a different way of getting to the driver's schedule. For this example, we will extend driver number 1's schedule by 1 hour. To start, we'll click on driver number 1's name on the Gantt chart. These are driver number 1's statistics for their current shift. These statistics are updated throughout the driver's shift. To continue, click on the Related tab. Here is where you will find the vehicle's skills. These are the skills that field service uses when determining which vehicle to dispatch a call to. These are not driver skills, they are the skills of the vehicle. Let's continue on to the driver's schedule. Click on the driver's name under Operating Hours. An easy way to change the working hours for driver number 1 is to simply drag the end of the box from 11 a.m. to noon. Notice driver number 1's schedule has now been modified to add the additional hour. Let's see what it looks like on the Gantt chart. We'll click on Dispatch Console. The additional hour is now displayed on the Gantt chart. That's all there is to scheduling drivers.